To fully understand a world, one must first learn to speak the language of that realm. Often, high fantasy worlds are defined by the unique terms denoting that which sets them apart from other realms, and most importantly, our own.
That is a theme that is all throughout Terminus and all throughout the world and the creation of the world. And language and the power of language and speech and knowledge and wisdom and all of those things flowing through something as simple but as powerful as speech or a spell or an enchantment or a scripture. That the distillation of that power down to words, or again, like pictographs or glyphs, runes, hand gestures, like when you see it, it's kind of everywhere.
Some of the most acclaimed fantasy worlds are known for their bespoke linguistics. But it's more than just words on a page. Language comes with elements not so easily communicated through visual means alone. Grammar, inflection, and ultimately, pronunciation can be rather nebulous to the reader. After all, the words are creations of one person's mind that can have no grounding in our world sometimes. No resource, no reference, nothing to anchor them in our minds and on our tongues. Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, the upcoming MMORPG by Visionary Realms, is a high fantasy world full of fantastic creatures, wondrous places, and mysterious people. Fortunately, we've seen a lot of those words on paper through the extensive lore available on the official website, newsletters, and much more. But how often do we actually hear the words said? Not as often as needed, apparently, because sometimes this happens.
All right, we have the Mahjong here, or whatever we're calling him now, the Majin. Just imagine a Hokitimagen.
The John Lennon.
Yeah,
imagine.
can you pull the Hokitimagen?
Wow. Three different pronunciations in the same sentence.
I mean, that way, at least one of them's right.
Good job, but don't tell JN any of this, please.
All right, pulling them all the way back, guys. Going all the way back.
So, I've scoured the audio lore library of Pantheon to bring you a proper tome of pronunciation for as many of the unique terms that I could find, straight from the source himself, J.N. Gerhardt, Pantheon's lead writer. To be fair, even JN has acknowledged that the pronunciation of the words he's created is a subjective experience to the player, as he notes here.
So, yes, pronunciation first, I'll address that. I'm not a stickler with that. I think that people can pronounce things how they need to and how they feel, and your relationship to something can change.
But if you want to speak the language of Terminus, as its author does, I give you the Pantheon Pronunciation Guide.
First of all, great job on the pronunciation. Haethus Grevgale is the way that you pronounce it.
She's the Archai High Mortal.
That title, the Dead Heiress, much like Osari, He Who Rages, refers to their relationship inside their own pantheon.
So killing causes specifically, I'm not going to answer that.
So one of my favorite deities, Seernai, is dead. So she's off the table. Ane Mavor is an Archai deity that has to do with giving them kind of their spirit and their personality. I just think, like, as far as purely creative, enigmatic, good, virtuous, wild deities, she's up there, so I rate her pretty highly. Yu Shem, who is someone I don't think we've ever talked about. He's got some important and unique characteristics that would I would just love to spend a lot of time with Yu Shem.
It's Tordanier, and you did a good job. Great job. It's confusing.
Spriggan are one of the oldest races on Terminus, created in an age long before any of the playable races came onto the scene. As a testament to that, they actually still refer to the planet as Noah, which is one of the oldest names used. predating Terminus, Nistarok, and even Avazul.
As well as Amber Fate and things like that. Faerthale. Gorok, their original home planet. Hirith.
Thank you.
Differences of Terminus's seas and Isul's seas were significant enough that it was asphyxiating them. Yes, Kadasa. The original name for Kaga Sands was Naga Sands. Elves wandering Red Grove, walking on soil from Seal Lane. Yes, that's actually accurate. The flora of Seal Lane was, in some parts transported and brought, and there are 2 moons, and then Syros, the sun. One thing I could point to is the Dead Shear in Skargol, and Skargol itself, where you've got just this area that has been dramatically affected by the inhabitants. SKYDURBIN is the main city or town in Silent Plains. You've got Suroa, where the Arkai are. Vazdemeth is the name of their home planet.
Fortress, is it Devier?
Devier or Devier? Yes, man. Way to go.
Yes, on a roll today.
Tonight I want to take you on a journey to the human township of Avelia, highlighting 3 distinct groups that operate in the idyllic land outside of the capital city of Thronefast. Avelia sits nestled amongst the hills and waterways outside of the human capital city, an area known locally as the Forlin. Just over 5 years ago, the catastrophe at Azarus took the life of the ruling Oceloth king, most of his family, as well as countless other nobles, officers, and soldiers. In the wake of this disaster, Amantheon, Queen of the Burning Heart, ascended to the same throne that her ancestor Avendir first took nearly 500 years prior. The Ventori are a true Thronefastian, low noble house. Under the shrewd and fastidious eyes of Vedru Ventori, the family has flourished in merchantry both locally and across the seas. On the one hand, the Lady Mayor of Avelia, Agrisil Ventori, entreated the soldiers to come and take counsel, to help shape the future of the town. However, her subordinate, Domas, the Lord-in-Waiting, cracked down militarily with swift and unbridled justice as he saw it. Chief of the day in the Forlin are the Gadai, a group founded by the Pharaoh clan nearly a decade ago. Led locally by native sons Jorin and Gata, the Gadai possess an almost animalistic knowledge of the Rhones, mountains, and valleys.
And when I wrote Arakamel, I talked to him a lot, and then kind of just took some shots in the dark. If you go to Belle Iris's story, signature character story, there's a lot more talk about the Asahane, which are the leaders of the Arkai. Yep.
We got a snippet of the 4th letter from the keepings of Castigue.
Well, the Black Moon King, Rothuk, is the one who, from the Black Moon clan, gets a power that is not understood by any of the other clans, and proceeds to wipe out their leadership and unite them all under his banner, and then proceeds to start to take over things until he disappears into the wilderness. The question, though, is not about that. The question is the name of the clans. They are Way of Aster, yes, is one. Way of Aster, that's overseen by Astergath, that's the deity over them. There's the Gorogians, which are kind of like the Dallas Cowboys to totally sully this lore with the Dallas Cowboys. Of the 7 clans, they are they're like the biggest, baddest, most popular ones. Originally, they've taken a step back, obviously, on Terminus. There's the Black Moon, there's Fangoon, there's Bloodmare, Dark Sun, and then I think the only one is Severed Stone, or their full name is Cult of the Severed Stone. So that's the 7th. the ward that was the original was Kage. So Kage is the ward of shadow. He put Mase as ... and I'm fine if this is a bean. Mase is the ward of the hunt. I'm just gonna read all 6 of them off so that everybody can have it and
be done with it.
And be done with it, yes. Doa is the ward of the path, and I'm not going to say any more about that. Sozot is the ward of the wood. Kage is the ward of shadow. Fospel is the ward of joy. And then Mase is the ward of the hunt. And I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to stop myself from going any further. But we have 6 wards. And then we have some things beyond them. Itaro became the Ravaging Lord and created the Revenant from the Jinto. Janavi created the Jinto, or created the Remnant out of the remaining Jinto. And then there's Janisova, who I didn't ever think of it, but several people I've seen say there's an enchanter aspect to his narrative. The Koggans, specifically the Kaga Orphans, and then the new Koggans. So, Nitherian Red, kudos, correct way of pronouncing it. Semina, the one who wrote one of the forwards that we've got, was known as the last of the Jinto. There were also 2 Sons of Terminus, and the one that got injured was named Saluseti. And I don't think we've ever shared any of the War Wizard / Sons of Terminus's names. So, Saluseti is the one that Osari injured. The Dark Mirror. I don't care how y'all say it. It's totally fine.
I've been saying Dark Myrrh because I heard you say it one time, and I felt like that was what I remembered. So whenever conversation, I say Dark Myrrh, but I don't judge others for the way they say it either.
Do I say Dark Myrrh? I know for a fact Brad said Dark Mirror, so I am fine with anybody saying whatever. So the Makesh serves the purpose of, in a similar way to an Arkai's Outer Husk. Sujatal is another one. I'm not going to go into where he is or who he is, but yeah, there's a number of them. Where that character is going is up to the White Gate, which is where Thalen Greyborn and Dythir's Hand are. And I worked really closely with the initial idea of the Rainborn, and got like the hierarchy with Rachnothamos. We wanted there to be this top tier, pushing the boundaries of mortality dragon. I think the Rainborn Rekaphiros that the Ravaging Lord killed. I don't know if they could kill her or not. I think that would be. I would love to see that. We've got Tel Narcissus that's down there, the dragon that is in A Night of 5 Voices.
I hope this guide has been informative and entertaining for you. If you're following Pantheon and you want more content like this, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications for this channel. As well, you may be interested in our weekly podcast, The Rewind, where we cover each week the news, notes, and community discussions surrounding Pantheon. So maybe we'll see you there. And until then, cheers, and thanks for watching.